the big hoops because we are about to have a smackdown on selfishness. Are you scared of being judged? Do you get scared that people are going to reject you for your ideas, for your creativity? Do you feel imposter syndrome at some times? Or do you maybe just feel like you're not deserving of your dreams? Like maybe there's something wrong with you and that you're not enough and not worthy and not deserving of really achieving those big things that you feel in your heart. Then stop right now and watch this video to gain the momentum that you need, because we are challenging these self-limiting beliefs and these fears so you start gaining some traction and moving toward that vision of impact and service. And for the best leadership tips, entrepreneurship advice, and subconscious success strategies to help you stand out fearlessly, build your empire, and crown yourself, subscribe to this YouTube channel and be sure to hit the bell so that you are notified every Tuesday and Friday when a new video goes live. I'm Kimberly Spencer, high performance coach and founder of crownyourself.com. I was jamming with a client and she had struggled to just get motivated. She was struggling with motivation to get her projects off the ground. She was struggling with motivation to work out and take care of her body. Basically, she was like really freaking stuck. And this isn't the first time this happens with clients. In fact, this happens a lot. And we were going down the rabbit hole in our coaching session, and she was listing all the reasons as to why she hadn't gotten started with her health habits or her projects that we had committed to in the beginning of starting to work together. I just don't feel motivated. And then when I do sit down and do the block time and I get my shit together and I sit down and I do the work, I wonder, is it ever going to be good enough? What's the purpose of it? And I suddenly get all these fears, like my team is going to judge me and that I'm not going to be enough to be able to get this out into the world. And then it just perpetuates me feeling less motivated. Like I know I should do it, but I just don't feel it. Have you ever said anything like this? Drop me a yes in the comments below if you've ever just not felt motivated and you've kind of just felt stuck in your own fears. Here's the thing about my clients that I have been blessed to work with over 5 years of being a high performance coach. I work with such good-hearted, mission-minded, purpose-driven leaders. Like these are the conscious leaders who feel like they have a greater purpose on this planet to give, to share, to serve with. And they've been stuck on the how. And then they've delayed longer on getting started on the projects or the habits that they wanted to commit to when they initially started working with me. Well, then that's when it's time for me to bring out my full-on Enneagram 8 and challenge the F out of them. And the other thing about working with high-achieving visionary leaders is that you are fucking smart. You know you have self-limiting beliefs. You know they're holding you back. And yet you're still letting them hold you back. So here's what I said to my client. Look, I hear you. I hear that you don't feel good enough to get this project off the ground. I hear that you don't feel motivated. I hear that you're struggling with your self-worth and whether you're even deserving to have this leadership position in the first place. And for the past 5 minutes, I've actually heard every single sentence that you start with I. So why are you being so fucking selfish? Ooh, girl. Oh, no, she didn't. Oh, yes, I did. You see, here's the thing about all our gigantic big fears: the fear of judgment, the fear of rejection, the imposter syndrome, the fear of outshining someone else, the fear of being fundamentally flawed, the fear of not being worthy, not being deserving, not being enough, the fear of failure, the fear of death, the fear of ruin. All of these fears are 100% about you. They're not about your mission. They're not about your purpose, which is to serve in the way that only you are designed to serve with your unique experiences and abilities and skill sets and talents. Every single fear is 100% about you and not about the people that you are blessed to be on this planet with, that you have the ability to serve. If you want to really challenge that fear-based mindset that's keeping you stuck, that's not making you feel motivated, that's not making you feel like you're enough or you're not worthy or not deserving, then shift your focus from being on yourself to being of service to others, to the people who need you, to putting out your message, to helping someone else who is in a greater position of need than you. That is how you challenge your ego, my friends. All the excuses, I don't feel motivated, I don't know if it'll work, I don't feel deserving of it, I am scared of failure, I'm scared they're gonna reject me, I are all about you. They have nothing to do with the people that you are going to serve with your products, with your services, with your talents, with your abilities, with your experiences, all of these things that make you uniquely you and put you in the best position and the only position to serve the certain people that you are blessed to serve because of everything you've been through, because of your life experiences, because of who you are as a person. Your message, your mission, your purpose can reach people that I cannot, because your experiences, your gender, your race, your talents are different than mine. And because of that, you are required to step into your purpose and serve instead of living by these excuses that are all about you and all about your own ego. Like I said, this was going to be a smack down to the ego of selfishness, of having the focus and the spotlight be 100% on you and not on the people that you serve. In order to shift from all of the spotlight being on all your fears, all your doubts, all your worries, all your anxieties, it's up to you to shift into the focus being on the vision and the people that you serve. And if you cannot get clear on this like amorphous people of you don't know who you serve yet, if you don't know who you serve, if you're not clear on that, then who is one person whose life you can change, one person who you can inspire, who you can show gratitude for, who you can lead by example, who you can be a role model for. Maybe it's your niece, maybe it's your kids, maybe it's your husband, maybe it's an orphanage that's down the street from you, maybe it's volunteering, but it's finding one person, just one person who you can lean into, who will need you more because they're in a shittier spot than you are. If you're struggling with the question of, I don't know who I serve, and I'm not clear on this, and I'm not sure of what my purpose is, then let's get real crystal clear on finding you just one person, who is one person who you can show up for, who is one person who needs the inspiration, who needs the experiences, who needs the stories, the transformation that you have been through, who needs the skill set that you have now, who you can serve. Maybe it's your niece, maybe it's your daughter-in-law, maybe it's your spouse, maybe it's somebody in a homeless shelter. But find that one person who you can put a face to, so it's not this serving this amorphous amount of impact people that you want to impact, like the millions of people. Put a face to one and personalize it. When you put that face to that one person who needs you more than you need your excuses, you will change yourself into having massive momentum toward what it is that you want. You see, I discovered my purpose was to transform people's stories from this very experience of having just one person be transformed from something that I created. Back when I was a screenwriter in Hollywood, way back in my early 20s, I wrote this first feature film. I co-wrote it with my director. I was so excited. I was at the premiere, and I was surprised that this big dream of mine to have a feature film produced, distributed by Lionsgate, it was going on a Netflix, on the big screen, and I wasn't 100% fulfilled. And I was wondering, what is up? Like, is something wrong with me? Like, was something wrong with the film? I didn't know why I didn't feel 100% fulfilled. Now, you see, when you write a film, you get extra tickets to the premiere. And so my director and co-writing partner had given me tons of extra tickets to give out, and I was giving them out like candy, let's be honest, and to anyone who would say that they would come. And I had a friend of a friend who brought her son. And she brought her son to this film premiere, and he watched the movie. He listened to the behind the scenes from the cast of the characters and the actors. And 2 weeks later, I get a text from my friend. She said, I just want to let you know I got a message from my friend who came with her son to the film. Your movie changed his life. And I was like, that movie? Really? Really? And I was surprised and I was stunned, and yet I was so grateful because I finally understood that if I could change one life with one of my creations, with one video, with one movie, with one podcast, with one business, with one coach, if I could change one life, it was worth it. You see, the movie Bro, even though it has the drugs and the motocross and Danny Trejo in it, is really at the heart of it the story of a young kid who wants to fit in. It's a story about belonging and finding the crowd that you belong in. And this kid who had come to see the film, he was starting down the same path as the main character. He was starting to do drugs. He was starting to hang with the wrong crowd. He was starting to party a lot. And while some people say that's just your teen years and that's just how it is, his mother was really concerned. And he saw the film and he saw the road that he was heading down, and he stopped. He turned his life around and did a complete 180 because of that story, because he saw a story that was mirroring his own. Through telling that story of a kid trying to fit in, this kid changed his life. That is the power of using your genius zone to serve. And so now I transform stories in a different way. As a coach and as an author and as a speaker, I transform stories on YouTube, through our podcast, through all these different mediums. But it's still the same business of transforming stories. I still lead with that as my point of service. So even when I get into the throes of my own doubt and my own fear of failure and my own fears of rejection, my own fears of judgment, and that is the power of when you turn that spotlight from being all about you, all about your fears, your doubts, your judgments, your fear of rejection, your fear of being deserving or worthy or enough to create and cultivate that dream or whatever it is you want to put out into the world. To shifting your focus to being on service, to really leaning in to the service of just helping that one person change their life because of you. Because when you do, that's how you adopt a role model mindset. And when you have a role model mindset, it means you see yourself as a leader and as an influencer. Whether your circle is just 50 people, or it's that one person, or it's an influence of 2 million. People are watching you, and they're watching how you show up. They're watching how you lean into your fears and your doubts and your insecurities and your not enoughness and all those egoic perceptions. And when you shift into a role model mindset and you notice and you realize that people are watching you lean into that, you also have the power to change. You also have the power to lean into service. You have the power to lean into possibility. You have the power to lean into your vision. You have the power to lean into courage. And it is through leaning into courage that you inspire others to move forward in their own life with courage as well. Have the courage to shift the spotlight from being on yourself to being of service to others. And you will gain so much more momentum, so much faster toward your goals. Now, if you love this video and you are like, ooh, I would love some of that challenging in my life, or maybe I need a little bit of that challenging to get me out of focusing on myself so much and into focusing on that mission and that purpose and that vision and that service, then I challenge you, my friends, to book a 90-minute high-performance acceleration call down below. Click the link below. I will warn you, I am not a coach for everybody. But if you do enjoy a challenge, if you love rising into who you were born to be, and you know that you have untapped potential, that you are ready to tap into and mine that gold mine of everything you have inside of you, then click below and let's do a high performance acceleration consult where you will walk away with at least 5 new personalized strategies to immediately implement right after the call, as well as the power profit plan to increase your sales if you have a business in the next 12 months by 150%. And if you like this video, be sure to like it, subscribe, and share it with your friends. As always, my fellow sovereigns, own your throne, mind your business, because your reign is now. Check out these videos next on how to build your confidence and your empire. Oh, now we're recording. Oh, there we go. It wasn't even recording. As always, it's like my words were suddenly moving slower.